These are simply several potential feeder patterns. Others can be explored at a later date. These are not the only feeder pattern options, but we had to start somewhere, and this shows potential outcomes so you can compare apples to apples. To recap Plan B for feeder schools, if Brazos University were to move to the A.J. Moore campus, they would be fed by Dean Highland, Provident Heights, and West Avenue. The feeder schools for Carver would be Brook Avenue, Hines, Cedar Ridge, and South Waco. For Chavez, it would be Bells Hill and Kendrick. And Tennyson, it'd be 3 of the 4, depending on which is consolidated, Meadowbrook, Mountain View, Parkdale, or Viking Hills. Also, if administration is successful in getting the board's permission for a school within a school magnet for a gifted and talented development school, chances are the recommendation will be that it be placed on the Tennyson campus. In sum, the district is currently operating at about 72% utilization of all campuses district-wide, all grade levels, traditional schools, and magnet campuses. Anything under 85% and we lose money every day. Under Plan B, the closing or repurposing of 9 facilities is projected to bring WISD to approximately 91 or 92% utilization across all facilities. As we consider our budget constraints, we also need to keep in mind that due to age and condition, the most expensive facilities WISD has to maintain on an ongoing basis are STARS, the Alternative School, Sul Ross, and North Waco. As we consider other programming aspects, Baylor staff working with our professional development schools feel that making PDS schools into larger campuses will make for better PDS programming and will certainly be more cost effective for Baylor. To review our timeline, the initial demographic study was presented to the board on September 15th, the initial proposal on October 20th, the refined proposal on October 27th, tonight's further refined, although I believe tonight is the 17th. Saturday. That's Saturday. Then small group presentations regarding the proposal, November to January. We are already making some of those. The town hall meetings, the next slide will give you specific dates in January. I had spread them out over the district and over January. You asked that they be put closer together at the beginning of the month and change some of the locations. Then I asked that the board discuss the feasibility of the proposal on February 16th and determine the feasibility of the proposal on the 23rd. If any portion of the proposal requiring attendance zone is passed, we would be working on rezoning February and March. I would propose a rezoning pattern to you March 29th. I would ask that we have a public forum on April 19th, and then you determine the attendance rezoning on the 26th. And we would immediately begin notifying parents of the consolidations. These are the new dates, and if these aren't satisfactory, please let me know. That Thursday, January 5th, we would present at Waco High PAC. On the 9th, we would present at University High School PAC. Meanwhile, on Tuesday the 10th, there would be a presentation that will be only in Spanish at Chavez. On Wednesday, the 11th, at A.J. Moore, and on Thursday, the 12th, at Carver. The board, so are those town hall dates better or better placed? And this topic is scheduled for Saturday's workshop, but I would be happy to answer any questions you have tonight. And I have a copy of this proposal for each one of you. Anyone else that wants one?
Dr. Kane, on the town hall meetings, I would anticipate that you may have a quorum of board members that may want to go to one or more of those town hall meetings. What we have done in the past to address that as a concern is we have posted town hall meetings as a board meeting. If there is a quorum of members present, we'll call it to order as a board meeting. If not, it'll proceed just as a
And thank you, sir, and I would love it. It would be very, very good if all 7 board members could come to all of the meetings.
I wouldn't count on that, but I would. No, I think you'll have a lot of interest. I think folks will want to be there, and I want to make sure that any board members who do want to go have that opportunity, and if it pushes up above a quorum, I want to have a fallback.
Yes, no, thank
so
you
we don't have to exclude anyone.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
All Other questions or comments at this time?
And also, no, Plan C could be coming. I mean, there's nothing sacred about Plan A or Plan B or Plan C or Plan D. I'm trying to offer as many alternatives as the board, and also to put it out to the community so you can be getting feedback. Some of the ideas that I think were better than actually Plan A came from people in the community. So a lot of people have a lot of suggestions.
Mr. Sykes?
Mr. President, thank you. Dr. Kane, I don't know if we could see at some point in time in the next few weeks or middle of December, whatever, at the 92% capacity utilization that you mentioned, do we have an idea of a timeline out years where our demographic study would indicate that the population would increase to the point of stressing that 92%?
The enrollment indicator from the PSA group, PASA
Yes.
group was that through the year 2020, we were just going to have an increase of what percent, Ms. Davis? It was a very
Well,
small.
you don't need to do a number tonight.
It's less than 1% for the
Yes.
next 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years?
5 years is less than 1%.
Okay.
And I think up to 10 years, it's not much. But excellent question, and I've got the chart. In
Yeah,
fact,
just-
I think in Plan A, we actually have the graph to show.
Okay. I know it's projected to be flat. I don't know if there was a spike or any kind of
Well,
intermediate in there.
sir, I feel like there will be a spike whenever we are able to better utilize our money and put that into staffing and put it into programming. I think that the spike will happen,
Very good.
particularly with the Magnet Gifted and Talented Development School that we are.
It's just to
You'll be
keep
hearing in
mind-
January.
It's just to keep in mind, because of the timeline horizon to reallocate yet again, once campuses start filling up, with this new occupancy or whatever.
Other
Okay, thank you.
questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Tikel?
What happens to Lake Air in Plan?
It would be idle until further notice. And that was the difference the difference between Plan A and Plan B. If the Montessori schools went to Lake Air, then Brazos, I think there was a better chance that Brazos could have been, possibly there's a large facility around there that might be interested in it, and Brazos has, different concerns, but the Montessori seems to fit there better, and it seems to be more centrally located for the Montessori programs. Again, that would be one of those tough decisions that the board's going to have to make. I would love to tell you, here's the magic answer. This fits just like a jigsaw puzzle, and everyone goes hallelujah. But no matter what plan you come up with, you're not going to be happy, even if you decide not to do anything. There's a problem with everything.
Dr. King, I know on a number of occasions, the demographics consultant and the administration have referenced this 85% number as every
The magic.
day we're below that, we're losing money. And obviously, part of me says,
Where's that
we
come
never
from?
make money. I mean, we're
Oh.
a public school district. We have tax
Well,
revenues
that's true.
coming
Good
in.
point. That's probably me
They
more
don't
than the
pay us
demographic
based
people.
on
Right.
how many kids are there that day. So when you talk about 85% as a break-even number, what exactly is the administration alluding to there? Because we haven't in the past had to go into fund balance necessarily. I mean, we've
Miss-
had sufficient revenue.
Ms. Davis, do you feel like you can answer that better, or do you want me to muddle through it?
Well, I don't think that's the only factor, to be honest. I think, part of what happens with, as we've talked in the past, part of what happens with the smaller campuses is you end up with sometimes smaller class sizes. You're not able to reach that 22-to-1 necessarily across the board, and so you're moving kids in or out, and that's part of the issues. While the 85% is the target for utilization of your facilities, again, as we talked a little bit last month, that could be a little bit higher for us because we are very flat in population. 90, we could probably operate at a 90% because we're not needing to keep space available necessarily for growth. But
Fair enough.
again, it's really much more in the staffing issues, I think.
And those districts you see with a lot of portable buildings, even though that looks tacky, when I drive by them, I'm going, oh, they are, when you're at 105 or 110% capacity.
I do remind the board members, as Dr. Kane alluded to, we've got a workshop on Saturday, and you all have homework for that workshop. If there's any additional information you need staff to provide you before February, in terms of information on particular campuses, particular cost savings you have questions about, we need to have those questions so we can present them to staff by Saturday, so they've got the rest of November, December to pull that information together for
And
you.
Mr. Atkins, if I could clarify, at 10, because a lot of people want to come for that part, and I think by telling them that part won't start till 10, because we're having the training, the technology training, that might, of course, everyone's welcome for the technology training, but just as a point of information.
That'd be fine. We'll begin that part of the meeting at 10 o'clock. Also, any comments, revisions you have regarding the PowerPoint before we start taking that out, any additional slides you want to see, we need those on Saturday as
I
well.
will probably bring on one of the laptops every slide that we've come up with, one, for informational purposes, and two, in case you want to kind of leave this in, put this out, like this slide, but we need more information on it.
That'll be part of the discussion Saturday. We're also, we'll discuss the impact, whether we're looking at a potential bond issue under different proposals, and strategically, that's the timing for something like that. And then lastly, what was the other thing?
TRE?
That'd be part of that. Any other ideas? She said A and B may not be it. We may be down to C, D, E. If you have other
Right.
consolidation options you'd like the administration to crunch numbers on, it would be helpful if they had that by Saturday so they could begin running those numbers as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Williams.
I'd like for her to go back and explain this school within a school.
Oh, okay. Mr. Williams, at the last board meeting, the October regular board meeting, when we were talking about different consolidations and different kinds of things that we're going to work with students, and I don't remember actually how it came up in the conversation. We were talking about challenging our students and what we can do, and the board said, it could have been because where's Dr. Boswell? We were talking about, oh, she just walked out. Thanks, perfect timing. It could have been in line with the Baylor program that's working with I'm not certain how it came up, but we were talking about challenging our students, and the board was asking if there was some things that we could do in this consolidation that would really focus our efforts on a certain segment of the population that we do not feel like we have served well. Dr. Boswell is identifying a lot of students for our gifted and talented program that we've not identified in the past. We have under-identified a lot of particularly students from poverty and some students from minority groups. And so the board was interested in, now that we're doing those kinds of things, is there something we can do to further challenge them?
I'm not asking, I'm just for an explanation of a school within a school.
And so one way that we could do that would be servicing them together in a school within a school concept at the middle level.
Now, we on the point, but I'm just figuring out, how is this supposed to work, a school within a school?
The board asked that we bring back a proposal in January explaining that.
I'm not disagreeing. The only thing I want to know is how is it function? How is it going to function, a school within a school? Now, I've witnessed this before in other school districts, so I'm just wondering, if you're presenting that to us, then you have a plan as to how it's supposed to operate.
Well, more of the details will be in January, but I can tell you this kind of the general concept that I'm thinking of today. Dr. Boswell will be talking more about the identification process and how we would do that. But the idea is that we have students that we have not, like special ed students have special needs. Well, in a way, the gifted and talented students have special needs too that we've not particularly addressed. If they were in a building together, gifted students learn better when they're with each other much of the day. So if they are in a school within a school concept, they would be, and just for an example, Tennyson. They would take their electives with the Tennyson students. They would take their, they'd be the bus duty in the morning, lunch in the afternoon, bus duty in the afternoon, lunch, electives, most of their electives. But many of their core classes, that they would only be in core classes with other students who have been identified for those classes. Mm-hmm. And the idea is you don't want them separated in a school by themselves. Plus, again, we're getting away from